A Cypher is it's a jam session where everyone basically just feeds off of each other's energy.
A Cypher is just space to be that people create when they're together.
More like a collaboration of ideas and thoughts.
A Cypher is where people come together and make music.
A Cypher is a continuous circle of thought that keeps going. 360 hip-hop, none of that pre-written shit. It's off the top of the dome.
A Cypher is a place reserved for freak thinkers. Sounds, people, places, everything for the moment.
The Cypher. Cypher.
The Cypher.
The Cypher.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when...
Before we can even talk about the Cypher, we have to understand what hip-hop was. Now, hip-hop today is something totally different than what it used to be. Today you got the four separate elements. You got the DJ, the MC, the graffiti artist, the b-boy. But back in the day, it was all just a bunch of different artists doing their own thing, collectively coming together over time. Now, hip-hop got its start in the early 1970s in New York, with cats like Africa Bambaataa spearheading the whole movement. He started off as a DJ. You had cats like the Last Poets doing spoken word over jazz drums, who would eventually lead into the modern day MC. You had the graffiti artists like Taki 183, Lee, and Phase 2 doing their thing on the subway. You had b-boys top rocking to what the DJs were doing. In the early 1970s, you had cats like DJ Kool Herc running the first block parties to ever be seen in New York. He played soul, funk, R&B, and he was known for playing this section of the record called the break, or the get down. Since the breaks weren't too long, he used two turntables and double copies of the records to extend out the breaks. After DJ Kool Herc came other pioneers like Grandmaster Caz and Grandmaster Flash, being influenced by what DJ Kool Herc had started. Now, with the expansion of DJs came the expansion of hip-hop. In 1974, Africa Bambaataa starts up the Zulu Nation, with DJs, b-boys, and graph writers comprising the whole crew. It had social consciousness at its core, something very important in hip-hop. Around 1975 is when we see the first glimpse of the MC, who at the time mostly played backup to the DJ as a hype man with simple rhyme patterns to get the party crowd hyped up for the DJ. I'd say this is when the four pillars of hip-hop really started to emerge. DJs playing backbone, the pioneers of the sound. The b-boys who started the physical dancing to the movement provided by the DJ, the graph writers who provided the visual aesthetic of the culture, and of course the MC who would get the crowd hyped up. In the late 1970s, we start to see a shift of attention from the DJ to the MC, and you start to hear the term rap being used to describe the new art form. Cats like Curtis Blow, the Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash, and the Furious Five become the cornerstone of the pillars of hip-hop, which is MC and a rap. The 1980s is when everything really just blew up. Record companies really took notice of hip-hop and tried to capitalize on it. This is when more of household names started to come on the scene. Cats like the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Houdini, the Fat Boys, Eric B. and Rakim, Slick Rick, Salt and Pepper, KRS-One, just to name a few. But in terms of the Cypher, 1984 was an extremely important year as a cat named Dougie Fresh popped onto the scene. He released a very important record called The Original Human Beatbox. Now the beatbox would turn out to be one of the most important parts of the Cypher. People start becoming instruments themselves, and in this way the Cypher could take place anywhere. As long as the beatbox was there and you had an MC, anything could go down. From the 80s on, hip-hop spread out of New York to almost every part of the globe, and well, the rest is history.
I shall proceed and continue to rock the mic. I shall.
Marathons on tracks, verbal intergalactic metaphors for force and similes for practice. My mind's damaged, I wreak havoc and cause panic. It's panoramic from the Pacific to the Atlantic. Whenever we're rapping, I stay yapping with street language. Machete attack, lyrical action, breaking them off with some of this magic. I'm putting a hat trick for every one of you fanatics. Added and subtracted so you learn the mathematics.
My first experience with the Cypher was with a bunch of people. We were just rhyming in a circle. People weren't even really saying anything, just, you know, going what they felt, what they experienced in life, and, you know, it was just fun. It was just, you know, hip-hop at its purest.
They swore arrest many criminals inhibit Felonies are common, habitat is scientific. They got us in exhibits, living in faulty conditions. Hitting propaganda, signaling the premonition of a darker day that awaits when we sleep. They flooding the streets with the inner city beef. But don't fret, we still living in the sky. Even though 9 to 5 isn't enough to survive, we grind and grind hard. Abs to the boulevard, heaters are a must. So I ask you what you're pulling on. Ski mask or detox, you dirty or you clean? You dream or don't scheme, but there ain't no in between. Street rock hustler to the average fiend. As sad as it seems, reality is a crash in the scene. And the problems getting thick and too much to handle. Choices are predestined and there's no time to cancel.
Alright, my first Cypher experience was with my cousin, and we were just trading rhymes, like literal rhymes, one at a time. He say fire, I say tire. And actually at the time we were sleeping over at my cousin's house, and she got fed up with it, got annoyed, but you know, we kept it going. And pretty soon I built my way up to sentences, and you know, now I'm an avid cipherer.
City skylines, we living on the fine lines of poverty. Tapestry, sovereignty, the quick slang economy. Cast go to the corners and they stuck to it silently. Set squad on their arms, liquor bottles commonly found on the corners next to a couple of candles for folks who die, cause the business had to be handled. We living in strife and we fighting over the dividends. Destined for 3 strikes and living in imprisonment. Self-help and betterment, boys become veterans, sharing their war stories on the blocks while remembering. First person narrative, gunplay's imperative. Vicious villain is victimizing, it's just inherited. E-game designed for this disregarded derelict. Slum similarities, he mirror when comparative. We masked by impairment in violent environments. Students graduating quick, filling the requirements.
And my first experience in the Cypher was just based around jokes, people having fun, just loving hip-hop, all about the rhymes, man. Nothing too crazy, just us rhyming over beats, people just having fun.
Mental evolution is a critical step. I keep my third eye trained with collegiate text. My brain the biggest muscle that you ever seen flex. My cortex too complex to dissect. Verbal terminator like a cyborg from Skynet. So all my simplest lines get the greatest niggas perplexed. So I give them small doses coded in that street dialect. Cause my thoughts more weighty than your biggest connect. Like that, yeah, even bigger than that. My style the epitome of what these other cats lack. In fact, Jack, you could add that. They whack raps is the shit that I laugh at. Draw my competition stocks down like the NASDAQ.
That's what I love about the Cypher, man, because as an MC, you really get a chance to just speak what's on your mind, and we live in a time and place where you don't have too many outlets like that, and anytime I can get around a bunch of people that have that kind of energy to just speak, I live for that shit, man. I love that feeling. Epidemic times fall on top of us. Gotta slang something to survive in this jungle. You falling dead last if you living on the humble. Trust every single day is a complicated struggle. If you live in Section 8, then your problems all double. Persist through the madness, elevate your classes, rejuvenate the lens on your third eye glasses. Cause it's sick how we living in this populated prison, overcrowded by the number and the hunger of the children who dream but die wishing, lost and stay missing, screaming out to God, but even angels don't